We are officially live. It's all yours, my dear.
All right. Hey, Nick, it's awesome to have you on. Thanks so much for taking the time to talk to us today.
Oh my gosh, stoked to be here.
Yeah. Um, I've been watching you, back and forth for probably a year now, and your energy has always just inspired me. And I always get really pumped up whenever I see, something of yours pop up in my Facebook feed. So it's really great to see you, take the time to talk to me.
I'm excited to be here. It's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
So, our goal here is just to give agents, real estate agents out there, some value and kind of give them a glimpse into a day in the life of like a former top producing real estate agent, and some of the things that they can do, you know, easier, better, help them along the way. So, tell us who you are, the name of your company, a little bit about what you do, and why you love it.
Oh, I appreciate that. Thank you for having me. Stoked to be here. So used to be a real estate franchise owner. I got in real estate when I was 19. A lot of people, once you get the itch of real estate, I think people go all in on it, right? So did your traditional
Yeah.
route. You get your real estate license, get your 90 hours of schooling, and your little license and stickers on my car and my business cards. And I joined my first broker like we were told to, right? And
Right.
they were literally next door to the real estate company. And so I went over there, and I had dropped out of college for this dream of really entrepreneurship. And I kind of want to change the word of like realtor to, I really believe we're entrepreneurs, we're solopreneurs.
Yeah.
And so I got into this business with dreams, right? Left a football scholarship on the table to do this. And I joined my broker who promises you training and promises you leads and whatever. It was floor time at that time because we were in a shopping center. And of
Mhm.
course they want to split for that. So they took, I was on a 60-40 split, and I give them my $500 startup fee. And I remember showing up to the office the very first day, coffee, I'm all suited and booted, ready to go. 19-year-old kid knows nothing about nothing. I'm from a small town. I grew up in a single wide trailer down a dirt road on the prairie, and I'm in the big city of Phoenix, Arizona, getting ready to sell the homes, and I'm going to set the world on fire. And I remember asking like the office secretary, like, hey, where's the broker? Like, I really need some help. She's like, oh, well, she doesn't come in much. And like, she just took my money like to train me and coach me. And I remember walking up to her. I finally like got to talk to her, and she handed me just a stack, like it might as well have been a phone book, but it was just a stack of old leads. She's like, go ahead, call them. And I'm like, well, what do I say? She's like, I don't know. Just ask them if they want to sell. I'm like, didn't you just tell me you were going to train me? So then they send me to the office top producer. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I finally met the gal. And I'm like super nervous to meet with her, and I'm like, hey, I'll try to be fast. And she's like, well, you better be, because I got to get to work. And I go, what do you mean work? Like a home? And she goes, no, I have a full-time job. And I was like, I was really confused or I guess disillusioned, because I saw real estate differently. And come to find out, the office top producer had sold 7 homes the year prior. And that was the best. Well, if you look at the averages in real estate, NAR reports, the average realtor barely sells 3 homes per year. Well, I wanted to make a full-time career out of this.
Wow.
And so it took me 8 months to sell my first house. And a lot of agents out there can really relate to the story. Is you're a good, hardworking person and you're really dedicated to this, and you have bills, but you also have dreams of this real estate career. You just don't know. And I felt that like I was genuinely like I cared and I would work, but I was almost running east looking for a sunset, right? And no matter
Right.
how passionate you are or what you're listening to inspirational wise or how cool your Nikes are, you're not going to get it. And so I actually quit real estate 8 months later and got a part-time job leasing apartments as a leasing temp agent, because I thought like, okay, they'll pay my bills, but I can still stay around real estate. And then one day I saw an ad to join a real estate team, and I met my mentor and I joined him, and I was alone for 8 months, and he showed me 6 days worth of training. I mean, you're talking 6 days worth of like just teaching me what to say. I sold a home on my 6th day with him. I
Wow.
was alone for 8 months. On my 6th day, I sold the $350,000 house. And then on my 12th day, I sold another home. And what that really taught me, because this story isn't about me, this is about the agents listening. First of all, no, you're not alone if you're running that real estate roller coaster and you're really trying to get deals. But 2, I really believe in proven frameworks and roadmaps. And I joined him. He was selling 300 homes per year. Well, now I can learn from and model the best. Anthony Robbins said it best. Find somebody who's already achieved the level of success that you're really seeking, and just start modeling what they did to get there. And I started modeling him, and I spent a few years with him. And then when I was 23 years old, I went out on my own and I started my own real estate brokerage called Go Sold Realty at the time. And we created it from the ground up. And I was really proud. I was 23 years old, full of a ton of energy and something to prove. And within 12 months, by my 24th birthday, I sold 195 homes and did $1.5 million of commissions. And I was really proud of that. And we did a lot of that through just prospecting and open houses. And that's why I love what you guys are doing with the tools that you arm agents with. And that went on to, become an 8-figure business. We sold 2,500 homes. I wrote a book. We cashed $25 million of commissions, and it was really fun. I had an investment division, and I spent 14 years in the real estate industry, and it was an amazing, amazing, amazing business. But what I really found was in that process, how freaking amazing real estate agents are, but oftentimes how garbage the advice that they get is. Right. And so that's why when you reached out, I haven't spoken about real estate in over a year now, because what I do now is I actually still coach realtors, but I also coach entrepreneurs because I feel our model is broken. Whereas you have these Facebook ad kids that sell realtors $2 or $3 leads. I know these kids, like I've tested their strategies, and their goal is just to get you the cheapest, dumbest leads possible and not really care to put you on a monthly retainer. And I really believe agents don't want leads, they want clients. That's just my personal opinion, but we spin it that way. And then Zillow will spin it this way. And then the broker or the team leader will throw you this little like glitzy, shiny over here to get you in. I was just telling you a story before we came on. I was talking to an agent that I'm coaching personally, and he had given his team leader $20,000 in his 70-30 split. 20 grand he paid to this team leader last year. Not one of the deals came from the team leader. They came from what him and I are doing. So I have this passion. If you see me, I get a little excited because I really believe realtors need to step into a marketing mindset and become actually true blue business owners. I have so much respect for a real estate agent when you've been out there, showing a family. I mean, I showed one family 150 homes, like the life of a real estate agent, like for months, chasing a deal or negotiating with a seller where no, I'm not going to pay you 3%. You know how hard that feels, like how bad that feels, or like sitting in I used to sit at open houses for 10, 12 hours a day on a Saturday till like you just fall asleep on the couch. Just you're trying so hard. And I almost feel like sometimes realtors, and I did too, it's almost like we're in quicksand. And the faster we run, it's like you just can't make progress. I call this now the entrepreneur black hole. And I mean, tell me if this sounds familiar. Well, there's so much advice. You have to be buying ads, and then you got to be on Facebook. Now you got to be going live on Facebook. Now you got to be on YouTube. Now you got to be on Instagram. Now you got to be on Clubhouse. No, you got to be doing just solds, open houses, expires. And it almost feels like this like chaotic black hole. What I found is, because I lived in it and live in it certain times, is the more motivated you are to succeed, the farther you get down that hole, because you'll give up the kids' soccer games, dance recitals, you'll study, you'll work, you'll go grind it out. Whereas like they're just so driven to succeed. So that's truly like my life's passion and mission right now is coaching impact-driven entrepreneurs is what I call them. So entrepreneurs or realtors is really who we're speaking to, is somebody with a huge heart that it genuinely wants to help that buyer or that seller, but just needs some leads. And like the thing that I love about the real estate industry is our average commission when we sold was $7,800. Now you have agents all throughout the nation, possibly even the world, but it's probably not much different. The average commission for a lot of realtors could be $4,000 or $5,000, $10,000. Well, how many of those do you need before stuff starts making a lot of sense? One or two more, and you're like, wow, like I could really make some impact. I could pay off my debt. I could buy an investment property. I could put my kids through college. And so that's been my life's passion for truly 15 years, is helping real estate agents. I took a Papa John's pizza delivery guy, but he was just motivated, got into real estate, and he was making 100, 150 grand a year in my system. And every time he'd get like an award, I would cry, like just knowing how hard he worked and knowing how hard realtors work. And so when you reached out for me to hop on, I'm like, you have tools that genuinely help realtors. I don't talk about real estate, but I'm coming on just because, Celeste, you can't give away good, because when you do, it always comes back to you. And I just truly hope that there's some realtor out there that kind of what we talk about in this discussion, this crazy bearded dude that talks with his hands a lot, maybe sparks a thought, and maybe it leads somebody to a deal. So.
Excellent. I mean, that was a mouthful, Nick.
Oh, we're just getting warmed up, Celeste. Trust me. Trust me.
Okay. So you've spoken a bit about, making it, turning agents into business owners, doing your own marketing. And along with that comes doing your own prospecting.
Mm-hmm.
So out of, there's lots of things that ProspectBoss does as far, as a system.
Sure.
And it's all geared towards helping agents prospect easier, better, more efficiently. So out of calling, emailing, texting, video messaging, ringless messaging, agent circle prospecting, what would you say is the best combination of prospecting?
So I get asked this question a lot, right? What's the best funnel? What's the best marketing route? What's the best, prospecting tool, video marketing?
Mm-hmm.
What's the best social media platform? All the above. You ready for after 15 years, 8 figures of commissions, over $1 billion of real estate? Do you know what the number one out of all of them is?
Cold calling.
The one that you're actually using.
Oh, there you go.
Let me explain what I mean. I teach a concept called your superpower or your da-da-da-da. Bruce Lee said this: I don't fear the man that knows 10,000 kicks. I fear the man that's done one kick 10,000 times. And so whenever an agent approaches me, or a business owner for that matter, what I truly believe in is finding one thing and mastering it, and investing the time, the energy, and the resources. And so if you look at it this way, do you have an agent right now that sold 100 homes, made $1 million on circle prospecting? Yes, there's probably hundreds throughout the nation. Do you have an agent that's done that on video marketing? Yes, there's probably hundreds throughout the nation. Have they done that on email drips? Yes. Have they done that on open houses? Yes. Facebook ads, Zillow ads, Truly ads, all the above. And so the reason I love your guys' tool is it's a lower cost tool, and you have to get in and trade your time, and you really have to focus. But I really believe in that. It's like, if you look at it this way, what's the best workout program and weight loss program? Well, it's the one you're doing, and it's the meal you're having, right? And so if you just focus on it, people get fit with keto, they get fit with Atkins, they get fit with paleo, they get fit with juicing. These are just different modalities. And I think the world that we live in is we're marketed to so much to tell us that we're not enough and we should be buying this. And then you buy this guy's course, and oh, that's just the entry course, and cool, now you need to have this course and this course. And it really kind of bothers me. It's truly like my life's passion is trying to just cut the clutter. So what I would say is, out of all of them, find the one that you feel meets your personality and your modality best, your superpower. And the reason I say it that way is you have to create a life and a business by design. I truly believe that we are the architects of our business. So before I put the bow on that conversation, I want to lead there, because I think that's a little bit farther down the stage. I would tell any realtor before that happens, what does your business by design look like? I actually believe that we as realtors, entrepreneurs, I think we build our own jail cells from the inside out, and we don't even know it. Let me give you a story. When I was 23, 24, kind of ego started taking over, just sold 200 homes. Well, I'm going to open up a location across town. Okay. And so I opened up a location and started going after a target market that was 50 miles away from where I lived. Well, I'm in this market, live in this market, know this market, spend my time in this market, but because I'm chasing, something bigger, I wanted to tell people we were split, across the town or whatever. I started driving an hour across town on a daily basis in the morning. So instead of getting up and having a cup of coffee or walking my puppy dog, working out, enjoying my life, I would get up and be on the road at 6:30 a.m., pounding the wheel, stuck in rush hour, right? And I would commute across town. Then when I rushed, and cranked all day long, I had to come home, an hour. And the reason I share that with you is this. Are there agents, is there a market where an agent could take it and go deep and dominate? Yes. So instead of trying to run across town, go deep and go all in, but it has to meet their ultimate business and life by design. So I would ask this question for those listening. Why did you honestly start your business? What does if you could literally map out the most beautiful day for yourself, why did you start that business? I was just talking to an entrepreneur. He flips a few hundred homes per year, makes a couple $100,000 per month, and I'm coaching him. And we had this conversation last week. I said, brother, so often entrepreneurs will trade our daughter's dance recital or soccer game or whatever, or church services for 5 years from now. You can be at them, right? And I get that, right? I'm not trying to hear the lesson here. I'm not trying to say don't spend the time. What I'm saying is this: in 5 years, Like there's not this light at the end of the tunnel that like you finally hit X amount of money or X amount of listings or X amount of buyers, and then you're just set, right?
Right.
And I said, she might not even be in dance in 5 years. So could we hypothetically design your business where that all fit inside of it? And sellers had to work around you and buyers had to work around you. And if you truly knew why you started this business, for the time freedom, the money freedom, whatever that is, just map that out. I call it a life by design. You truly get a journal and map out, what does my perfect day look like? How do clients treat me? What does my time look like? When am I going on showings? Where am I going on listings? You identify a target market around that that'll accomplish that. And then that leads me to your question of finding a tool that fits into that will meet your modality. Some people are really, really good on the phone. Others are good on video. Others are good with the written form. Well, don't do something because so-and-so said you should. Do something because that's a good idea, but hey, this actually meets who I am as a person. I love this. This will help me reach my target market. Let me give you a perfect example. I ran over to Clubhouse. Everybody goes to this new Clubhouse thing and it's like, who's got the invite? I'm watching people sit on Clubhouse for 3 to 4 hours a day just talking and listening. And don't get me wrong, ideas are good. Sharing your voice is good. But if you're better on video, why would you jump to an audio platform? Does it make sense?
Yeah.
If you're better in the live form, why would you try to and so I'm really big on this. If you're great at written word, we'll write some really cool articles or blog posts and try to get published in your local newspaper community. Find one that fits your modality of who you are so you can become that superpower or superhero. Then it makes sure it fits into your true business by design. So I'm going back to the jail cell that I had created. Looking back, in my market where I lived, we were selling 200 homes per year, but there was also 15,000 other homes around me that I wasn't going after. So instead of actually making my own life by design, I get up, I work out, I don't commute, we have time for this, and this, and going deep into these communities, getting a really good foothold. Instead, I'll pull the plug and go run Facebook ads an hour across town. We were running radio ads valley-wide. And I'm just so big on just designing this ultimate business model that serves you. So back to your question is, find the one that you actually aren't going to hate doing. I know prospecting it's not having an ice cream sundae here. We're not laying on a beach sipping margaritas, which I truly wish we were. However, you have to find one that's going to serve you long-term. Let me share with you a personal story. Can you make money with expireds? Yeah, you probably have a lot of people doing it. I would come in every morning. I would get my big giant, the big Red Bull from the gas station, and I would start calling at 7:30 in the morning. Getting hung up on 100 times by 9 a.m. was not my cup of tea. However, I have some friends that absolutely kill it with it. Who's right and who's wrong? We're both right. If it fits your modality and you're good at it and you get business from it, you get more confidence with it. And what happens is when you find something and master it, you get better at it, you get results with it. Hypothetically, let's say they take circle prospecting, for example, and they're good on the voice and they get a good script and they got some good tools, which I have something really cool I'm going to share with you here in a second, is once you get that first sale out of it, let's say you go get a $10,000 sale. Couldn't you take 10% off the top, reinvest back into circle prospecting, get cool buyer's guides, seller guides, tools to make your life easier, get a better, get a better headset. Then you get better at it. Then you get another listing. That listing leads you to a buyer. And I think if you go back to this concept of doubling down on something, it'll crush. But too many agents want to do this. No offense to you guys out there. I love you. Just don't punch me when I say this. We want to go do the free, which I'm for. That's fine. We want to go to free Facebook. We want to get the one cute little photo that's so it's funny because I have 3,000 friends that are realtors. When one meme comes out, I see it 10,000 times. Because we steal it from somebody else. And my favorite one, what year were you when you bought your first home? I'm like, homie, dude, I've seen 1,000 of you share this in hopes of getting somebody to engage. Do you know how hard, how crappy it is to go work your butt off to create a post or an article or a video and go share it and have 3 people like it and get crickets? My mom, the local recruiter who's trying to recruit you to eXp Realty, your title rep, your mortgage company. And I started studying this, Celeste, like it was a science. I would go through 100 real estate agents posts a day, 4 likes, 5 likes, 6 likes, 7 likes. Who's commenting? The lender that wants your business, the title rep that gave you the article, your team leader who recruited you over. But you know who's not commenting or posting?
Prospects,
the actual buyer or a seller. And the minute I started sharing this, it opens up this huge world of, well, that's a really good point. The post is the right thing. but the right bait in the wrong pond can't do it. The thing that you guys are talking about is you're literally calling the target, like the actual people, like you're fishing in a stocked pond, but we want to throw it out there and hope. I really just share with agents and entrepreneurs, hey man, like that's uncontrollable. It's not predictable. Can I share with you like a really next level lesson that I learned from my mentor? So we were in Dallas, Texas. I was part of like this little local marketing group, and we went to this seminar in Dallas. And so we get to Dallas, and I'm 24. I'm the young little, real estate guy. And our group was like, hey, Nick, there's that big guru here. We know him. Do you want to meet him? He's from Phoenix too. And he had closed 8,000 transactions in the real estate and mortgage business. 8,000. Wow. So I ended up meeting him, terrified, right? I'm looking at this man. And so we started chatting. Well, anyway, we got home to Phoenix, and I started, building a relationship with him. And he's become my mentor and one of my closest friends. We chat, 5 times a day. We're launching a new business together. And he shared me with this lesson. I think this changed the way I saw the real estate industry forever. He said, Nick, what's your average commission? I said, $8,000. He goes, great. If I gave you right now, if I had $8,000 right now, how much would you pay me for that? And I said, well, what do you mean? He goes, would you give me $100 cash right now if I handed you $8,000 back, like literally traded it off? And I said, well, dude, yeah, I mean, that's $7,100. He goes, all right, son, would you trade me $500 today? Like literally go in your bank account, you hand me $500 back, I hand you $8,000 in return. I said, well, yeah, dude, like I'd be net 7,500. He goes, okay, now here's the lesson. Would you go hand me $1,000? Crazy, right? Would you gamble $1,000 if I handed you $8,000 back? And I stopped and thought about it for a second. I said, well, yeah, if I knew that I was going to get it back, of course, I would be net $7,000. And he said, and here's the lesson. What are you willing to trade for a $10,000 listing? And I went, oh my word. And he said, Nick, you're going to trade time or money. And what I have found is agents want a high-end video, but won't spend $100 to have somebody edit it that's a professional editor. We're going to edit it on our iPhone. We won't invest in a selfie light or a better camera or a professional video shoot. With what you're talking about, a camera to do video emails, maybe even your service in itself, right? Like, I just feel that so often we're stepping over tens of thousands of dollars to save pennies, whereas a few $100 investment on Fiverr.com, you can have a video edited sick for $50, a podcast edited for $25. I just had a video shoot done here at the harbor. Cost me $150 to have this kid with like the dope 4K big camera lens mic me up and shoot 4 videos. I share with you that story because I think the lesson hits home. I'm not saying give a grand. What I'm saying is we expect to get 3, 4, 5 listings per month or buyers per month. You have to be willing to trade it. I had an agent call me up last month. He goes, brother, I want to run Facebook ads. I'm like, awesome, dude, let's do this. And I was like, cool. Like, do you have a funnel or like an ebook or a guide to give them? Well, no. I was like, okay, well, what are you thinking on a budget? He goes, $5 a day. I said, brother, you want to trade $5 a day, and in return, what do you want? And he goes, I want 3 listings per month. I said, you don't think some other realtor sitting next to you is like, oh, if I could give you $5 and you hand me a $10,000 listing back, I'd take that get all day long, but it doesn't work that way. And so what I just want agents to think about is like, from a business owner's standpoint, what would I be willing to trade? My time? Yes. 2 hours of my time? Heck yes, to get that in return. And that's why I just love what you're doing with the tools that you guys provide agents, because it allows them to invest a few $100s into some tools, into themselves, and then really just go all in on their business and double down. Celeste?
Yeah, so I saw this, this quote, and I honestly don't know who said it originally, but it was something along the lines of, there is no elevator to success. You have to take the stairs. And to me, that means putting in the work. There's no magic pill that you can take that's gonna, send you straight to the top to be a top producer, day one. It just isn't going to happen. You have to put in the work. You have to take the time and the effort to actually build it. And I like to think of, our tool, our platform as, kind of an escalator. No, there's not going to be an elevator that's going to take you straight to the top, but using our tool and putting in the work, you might get there a little bit faster.
Absolutely. I love that. That's super rad.
So you said that there was something that you had that you were going to show us.
Yeah, so I've been prospecting for 15 years, right? And let me just set the stage with this little story. So the story really kind of changed the way I saw my real estate business. So I must have been 21, 22 years at the time. I was a kid, right? So I walk into this gentleman's home, and all our realtors, you're gonna laugh right now. I walk in, I got my briefcase, my presentation ready to go, and I sit at a kitchen table. He literally looks at me and he goes, "Okay, dude, you got 10 minutes because there's two more lined up behind you." I said, "Excuse me?" And he goes, "Well, yeah, you realtors are a dime a dozen. I'm going to interview 5 of you." And I was like,
Oh,
interesting.
wow.
Okay. So as I'm pulling out my presentation, a little nervous, a little shook at this point, right? The phone rings and he goes, "Yeah, when you going to be here?" He goes, "Yeah, I got the one here. You're about done, right?" I didn't even start it. And he's like, "Yeah, be here in 15 minutes. Okay, bye." I literally hadn't even opened up my presentation. And I was a good realtor at the time. I was selling like 30, 40 homes per year. And he goes, "Okay, dude, what's the cheapest you're going to do this for?" He's going to do it for 1%. Will you beat that? And I remember looking at him like, "Why don't you respect me? Why are you being a jerk? How am I going to grow my business this way?" And I was like, "Dude, like I spend more than $1,000 to market your home. We do the high-end photos and the high-end videos. And like, you're not even respecting me at all." And I didn't like that feeling. And I think a lot of realtors can relate to that, where a buyer asks you for your commission or a seller tries to beat you up on your commission. And I remember grabbing my briefcase and I'm like, well, this is a lost cause. I'm walking out of his driveway and there truly was 2 cars lined up behind me. And I saw the realtors on their Bluetooth, trying to get in the mode or whatever. And I remember driving home that night and I wasn't mad at him. Do you know who I was mad at? Myself. Because I had put myself in that situation. Let me see if I can find really quickly for you. What that started for me, Celeste, was a journey of how does a realtor, and this is probably the biggest lesson I could give anybody listening, which ties into your tool. How can a realtor position themselves as the pro where somebody will never ask them about their commission ever again? How can you position yourself as the go-to authority and expert in that market? And so it sent me on this crazy journey of learning authority branding and attraction marketing. Let me explain. I, as a real estate agent, like in my market of Phoenix, Arizona, there was 75,000 realtors there. And I think there's more there, right? And we call that in the marketing world a red ocean, where it's just all chummed up and just completely competitive, right?
Right.
The idea in marketing is to create your own niche in your own blue ocean. So how do you do that as a real estate agent? You have to share truly expert advice. Understanding the world of real estate is actually somewhat easy. I call them AAs, average agents. If you are one and want to change that, hear me out on this. The average agent will not take the time to actually study demographics in the neighborhood, to actually go through every sale, every pending listing, every active listings, and become the authority we just want things to be quick and easy. So many agents want to do like a quick Zoom CMA and rush out. I used to spend literally like 5 to 6 hours on a CMA. I would preview the prior. I'll explain why that matters. The more you know about the community, your market, all the above, it allows you to share that through expert advice. I truly believe in attraction marketing, meaning you have one realtor that comes out, find out what your home is worth. Guys, it's 2021. They know what their home is worth, give or take 10%. It's called Zillow. They know how to search for homes. It's funny, I still see people get a free list of homes. Did anybody charge for a list of homes 30 years ago? No. But we take this marketing that we saw, or no offense, title companies. I love title companies. They're not marketing teams. They're trying to get your real estate business. So they're going to give you a cute postcard or whatever. And I'm not knocking it, but what I'm saying is we're taking information from people that are actually not marketers themselves. And so I started seeking other information outside of the industry. And so we started, and all the realtors listening to me right now, create a piece of marketing that somebody will ask you for. For example, one of the current things that I'm running, the ultimate playbook for impact-driven entrepreneurs, the 7 frameworks to attract in more leads, build more authority, and grow your business. We're offering this online. I'm not calling people begging them to take this. You are now asking me for this. Now hear me out on this and watch how this connects to real estate. If I wrote the playbook for impact-driven entrepreneurs and know the 7 frameworks, and you're somebody that wants to grow your business, odds are I probably know what I'm talking about if I took the time to write this. If a real estate agent took the time to write the COVID's guides to post-election, sprucing up your home in X amount of a community and wrote this guide, You can do this for free right now on canva.com for free and have it done in an hour. Then lead with that. So back to the point of circle prospecting, arm yourself with the raddest tools possible. If I called you and said, hey, I have really, really cool stuff that's going to put a ton of money in your pocket, help you spruce up your home, would you want it? If you say you're a jerk, of course you're going to say yes, right? So what I teach is agents creating really cool pieces of content. How you can buy a home 0 down and get up to 13,000. Like, ask me how, and you write that as a guide. How would a buyer treat you if you had that guide in your hand, or you were on a Zoom call with them or doing a face-to-face? They would love you. They would see you as an expert. They would take your advice, because I know how hard it is to attract these people in and be like, well, you do it for 1%. So let me put a bow on this story. So I go on this journey of how to build the ultimate attraction tools. This is what I do now. You can tell why I kind of left real estate, because I really believe this I still coach 50% of my students are realtors, but I believe that this is the game changer. So think about circle prospecting with a tool like this. I smile with like a ClickFunnels or a sales funnel. If a realtor had that ready to go, in ebook or a guide, or printed these up, game changer. So what I did was I started seeking, how can I come up with the ultimate branding tool for myself? Because I'm done having guys tell me 1%. My signing ratio was 40%. Here's what I did. I got to know my craft really well, and I wrote a book about my home selling system. I teach realtors and business owners to become self-published authors. I have a self-publishing company now and a print shop. This cost me $6,000 to publish. We have realtors publish books for less than $250. Let me explain why. I was at a conference one night and this guy's talking about books, and I'm like, well, I don't want to sell them on Amazon. I just want freaking homeowners to love me, right? And so all I did was I took my 10-step home selling system, my presentation that I knew inside and out, and I wrote it as a book. It took me 2 weeks. I wrote for 30 minutes a day for 2 weeks. Special. I literally do this. The reason I'm sharing with you is this story. So we put this together. I got these printed up. And so I was like, oh crap. Well, if somebody wants to apply to work with me now as a homeowner, I have to do everything in my power before I get to their house to build authority. So watch this. Homeowner calls me up on a Monday and he said, and this is true, like agents are going to laugh. Hey, Nick, my home's been on the market 5.5 months. My coworker next to me, says you're awesome. Hey, just a heads up, dude, I hate realtors. I think you guys suck. Like, I'm pretty pissed off. I've had my home on the market for 5.5 months. That's so typical, right? We've all been by some realtor that just doesn't care, like just throws the listing up, takes photos off of their iPhone. I hate but you want 10 grand back in return. So I get that. If you know the game you're playing, you can completely see it differently. Like, I hope agents are going to be like, dude, this guy's pulling back us. Thank you. So he calls me on Monday. I said, I'll be there on Thursday. He says, just a heads up, I'm interviewing 4 other realtors. Very typical of my market. Most markets are the same. I'm up against cousin Mary, who's going to do it for a nickel, the home investors or the cash offer guys. Just know the game and differentiate yourself. 4 time differentiating. So I said, great, no problem. So I'm going to see you on Thursday. Well, Monday, the phone hangs up. I know this is going to be the same every time. Like, the sun goes up, sun goes down. Sellers have the same emotions. So what we did was we took this book, we got a little box, cost me $3. We put that in a box, put in a homeowner's guide, a personal note, and I shipped it to his home within 2 hours of the phone call. Cost me $20 to have the courier drop it off, or my assistant would. Now watch this. He gets home from work that day and he's got a box from Nick with my book in it. I invested $25, $30 in it, right? But we also knew that he was going to have questions about, who am I? Who is this guy? Why should I hire him? What's the home selling process look like? So we recorded 3 videos off of my iPhone that said, hey, here's Nick's story. Here's Nick's journey. Here's why Nick is on fire for homeowners. Here's what makes Nick different. Here's a few of Nick's testimonials. Here's what to expect. And we created these videos as the 3-step drip, which your system can email out. So knowing that I'm coming on Thursday, he gets the book, he gets an email. Tuesday, he gets a video. Wednesday, he gets a video. Simple. Took me, easy. Wednesday at 10:30 a.m., my phone is a true story, no fabrication. 10:30 a.m., my phone rings and I had his number saved. And I said, hey, this is Nick. He goes, dude, you're the real freaking deal, aren't you? And I was like, well, hi, good morning. How are you? And he goes, bro, I got a book with your name on it. I've gotten these videos. And he goes, hey, man, I apologize for what I said on Monday. He goes, you're my guy. And I said, I appreciate that. And he goes, hey, I canceled those other appointments. Can you come over on tonight and sign my listing up? Well, this was a $500,000 home that I was going to make 15 grand on. Yeah, I'll be on my way. So this is so funny. I pull up to the house, I park, as we all do outside of the home, and I'm trying to get in the zone. And the big, like, beautiful, like, custom doors were wide open. And so I'm walking up, and I'm 6'1" and wear a suit when I go to listings. His wife must have been 5'1". She literally goes, "Nick," and gives me a big hug. I have never met them. She gives me a hug. As I'm hugging her, they had like this spiral staircase, and he's walking down, and he goes, "There's my guide. I can finally move to Chicago. Where do I sign?" I've been in the home 45 seconds. And I laughed and I said, "Well, can I see you around the home first?" Anyway, so the listing and sold it. What was that process? It was me actually looking at this from a business owner standpoint, from a marketer standpoint, going, how do I tell him what makes me different? Because if you look at the previous story, guy laughing at me 1%. I don't budge. It's like, dude, like, no, this is what you're going to get. This is why, right? Homeowners want the most amount of money. They want the baddest freaking realtor on the planet. They don't want Walmart, right? And so how do you differentiate yourself? Guys, it takes 12 hours to build a Toyota and 6 months to build a Rolls Royce. Good things take time, and you have to show what makes you different. You have to show your quality. So back to using prospecting tools. I think an agent with outgoing prospecting to drive in leads and authority marketing and branding, game changer. So we teach agents to build a 3-step funnel that builds authority. So the question I would have for every realtor listing is this: what are those homeowners' emotions, or that home buyer, depending on who you're prospecting? What are their fears? What makes you different? What is your mission, and why are you on fire for them? I think people should share their mission more in their story. So let me just share with you a quick story. My little brother, sorry, I just full of them because I just love this stuff.
I love it.
My little brother called me up a few months ago, and he's like, he had his license like 6 months ago. He's like, "Bro, when do I get back into real estate?" And I was like, "All right, man." So I started coaching my little brother for free. I let him into my coaching program. And so 3 days worth, I walk him through some of everything we're talking about. And the goal is, you have to stand for something or you will stand for nothing. You have to differentiate yourself. That's it. You have to stand out from the marketplace. And I said, "Well, Josh, what makes you different?" He goes, "Well, dude, I'm just a pretty rad dude. I'd kind of get a beer with you and just shoot you straight." I said, "Great. There's your brand." He goes, "Really?" Yep. I said, "Yeah, why?" He goes, "Well, dude, like this guy, like I saw this Facebook ad." He goes, "Dude, he looks so cheesy and gimmicky. And he said, if I don't sell your home in 90 days, I'll work for free." And my little brother goes, "Dude, if you haven't sold a home in 90 days, you should have been fired freaking 60 days ago." So anyway, I teach my little brother some branding. We gave him some pieces. He built his own guide on Canva. He goes live. So I teach this whole 5-step live strategy. My brother hasn't sold a home in 6 years. He goes live, hadn't real estate in 6 years. I teach him what to say. He hops on live and says, "Hey guys, are you sick of cheesy, gimmicky realtors?" And he's like, he goes, "Listen, do you want somebody to shoot you straight, just tell you what's going on, get a beer, get an iced tea with you, and just level with you?" And he goes, "That's just kind of what I want to do." And like, I don't know if you know this, but I just got back into real estate, and I got this really cool guide. And I'm just going to kind of talk to you about like what's going on in the market. And if you want one, let me know. Lady literally says, "Josh, send that to me." Within 24 hours, he was at her home, listed her property. 7 days later, hasn't sold the home in 6 years, had no marketing, no idea. 3 days with this type of a strategy. 3 days. He sold that home and made 12 grand. It was so funny because then fast forward, I'm sitting at the Thanksgiving table with my family. My dad looks at me and he goes, "You kind of know this stuff." And I was like, well, almost like I wrote a book out about it, did it 50. And he was like, "This is what you've been doing the whole time?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm just not going to tell you. Like, this is what I do." The reason I share that story is, you have to really stand for something and share your mission. Why did you get into real estate? Was it that you always wanted to buy a home and had no clue that zero down loans exist, and then you did it and now you raise your family? Or do you believe in real estate investments so much because that passive income or that cash flow funnels, or like, are you so mad that the average realtor literally lists their home for less than they should and you can get them above asking price? Share that. Share your heart. I truly believe that if you have a giant heart to serve, an impact-driven entrepreneur, and you have really cool information to share it and get it out there in the marketplace. I say that ebooks and things like this, they have legs because they get up and they run away. So if you wrote a kick-ass, go to Canva, click on up at the top right, click on Build Magazine. There's a whole template there. You get 100 of these printed up. Have your title company chip in. Hand those out like candy. When we were selling, I wouldn't give you a business card. I would give you one of these or my monthly newsletter or a guide because my information's on the back. And we have a couple e-guides or home selling guides that we've made $1 million or more on. This book right here is worth over $6 million to us because I was signing 40% of my appointments. I went to a 90% signing ratio after authority branding. So back to prospect marketing. What kick-ass tool could you lead with? You have to come with that advice. It's like, honey, this gal just called me up and she's got the homeowner's guide to X. Yeah. And then drop it in the mail. Spend $1 on this, spend $2 on this, then follow. So like the way I always saw it was, if you were to get them as a circle prospecting lead, go earn it and show them who you are. The minute you hang that up, wow them. Like have a stack of these ready to go, drop a personal note in, then follow up in 3 days. Do you think they're going to want your phone call? Oh my God, hey, how are you? Like one little tweak like that, they'll answer your phone call, they'll respond to your emails. And I didn't like chasing leads that didn't want to work with me. Like you gave me a fake email address. Like I have really cool stuff to share. Well, if you want the real one, you got to give me a real email, or like for us, what we would do is we would get the homeowner's address and then mail one of these monthly. So we had a monthly newsletter that had all of our homes sold on the back, a homeowner's tip, and we've made a few $1 million on our newsletter strategy. And people like, it's so funny because agents are like, oh no, like I could email it out. I'd save some money. I'm like, dude, that's why I want to mail it, because you get this in the mailbox and it's this 8.5 by 11 beautiful newsletter. Somebody's going to pay attention to that. But aren't you setting the standard for what your marketing is like? If I'm willing to do this to just meet you, what do you think I'm going to do once I get your home sold? Don't you want the most amount of money for your home? And here's why my 9-step marketing plan does X, X, and X. I think authority branding and really cool tools link hand in hand with prospecting. And honestly, I feel it's like if you have like an arsenal of the coolest tools and guides, boom, 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 boom. Or what if you went and recorded like the coolest freaking video of you standing outside of this community like entrance and you're like, hey guys, 3 tips, boom, 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 boom. Here's what's going on in the marketplace, and invest $200, $250 in like a high-end video with drones and stuff. Then you sent that out. Hey, Mr. Homeowner, nice to meet you. Hey, I just recorded the 3 things you have to do to spruce up your home in 2021 in, X amount community. Can I send that to you? You're more now leading with value, love, really cool ideas. I call it results in advance, Celeste, is if you're walking around Costco or a grocery store and they have like the little samples that you take one and then send your kids back through so you can have another one if you like them. Trust me, I know the tricks. Is you're gonna see a product that you've never heard of before, or maybe you wanted to try. You're gonna try it and you're either going to love it and buy it or hate it. That's exactly it. So I teach something called results in advance. Give away some value up front. Let them test drive who you are. If they like it, they'll want more. If they don't, they're not the right client for you anyway. So you're trying to almost attract in and polarize out everybody else that doesn't want to be there. Sorry, that was a long little lesson, but I think it was well worth it.
Yeah, I love your little stories. They are fantastic.
Cool. What else you got, Celeste? What else you want to chat about?
Okay, so tell me, if you were to be back at your 19-year-old self, just starting out in real estate, and you had the tools at your disposal that you have now, if you had the knowledge now back then, what would you have done differently?
It's a great question. And it's really interesting because I've got to live that through my younger brother reactivating his real estate career. And, knowing what his business means to him. So the very first thing I start with everybody is young 19-year-old Nick, or my younger brother, is what does this business really mean to you and why are you doing it? Well, for him, we started chatting. And these are a very emotional goal setting exercises that I really believe are it. I think tactics and strategies are 10, 15%. I think 80, 85%, 90% of you is you. And we call it the foundation of you. So in the Triumphant Life, my company, I call it the 4 foundations. Your body is number 1, getting your body moving, your mind, the things you fill it with, your heart, your spirit, and your fire goals. And then your business is number 4. But if you get the first 3 right, the 4th is the easiest. So I said, Joshie, his name's Joshua. I said, what would your real estate business mean to you? And he wanted to make 200 grand per year. I said, that's fantastic. What would that mean to you? Well, they had a goal and a dream to start building a custom home on land. And he wanted kids quads and wanted to have, the pop-up projector screens at the pool. And he said, Nick, that's what that would mean to me. We could afford to upgrade the home, and we could get a key to there for mom, and she could have in-laws quarter. We could have family there, kids could have horse, and he lit on fire about it. And I said, that's beautiful, man. Okay, now how many deals would we need to do that? And he said, I would need 20. I said, okay, cool. So now I understand why we're doing this. We're trying to get 20. Okay, cool. And then we started just working him backwards. And I said, okay, cool. Now, how are we going to stand out in the marketplace? And we started coming up with things that made him different and ways for him to attract people into him. And really feel that came through a guide and came through some tools like that. And I think when you kind of take a step back and look at it from that standpoint, I think everything else changes for your business. And that's what drives him. That's what gets him out of bed in the morning. So in essence, we have to be on fire for our goals, but then we have to have really cool marketing tools, because oftentimes I call it the gap. And anybody listening right now, I have a free video on this. If you want it, PM me or somehow get a hold of me. But so let's look at it this way. Let's say an agent made 50 grand last year, but their goal was 100. What's the gap? 50, obviously, right? But I'm really big on the realities of why, because I think success, real estate, even ProspectBoss, I don't think one size fits all. I think we all operate differently. And I think when you can find what makes almost the code to an ATM machine. So let me explain. So many people see me or hear my podcast. They're like, dude, you're so inspirational. How do you talk about the realities of so much? Tony Robbins said this: you can't go to the rose garden and just sit there and go, oh, there's no weeds. It's going to grow. Like, things are going to happen. But I think when you understand what has held you back, we call it the line in the sand, is what's been holding you back? Why didn't you get out of bed to go to the gym? What's happening in your marketing? Why didn't you bridge that gap of the 50 grand? I think a mature achiever and a mature business person can look at this with the reading. What tends to happen is if we set the goal for 100, we too often shrink and go, well, 50 was okay. And so-and-so only made 40, so I'm good. But were you dead set on 100? Yeah. Well, then let's not shrink the goal. Let's reevaluate as an experiment, and let's pick back where we left off. What stopped you? Well, I needed, 8 more sellers. Okay. Well, what was that? Well, my social media is not hitting it. Well, then we have to do something different, because doing the same thing over and over again is truly the definition of insanity. But then we'll rush to the next social media post. Then we'll go post on Instagram, then share it to Facebook, then share it to our business page. And so if that's not working and you're not getting results from it, let's analyze that, figure out what that gap is, identify a plan to bridge the gap. And I think everything, Celeste, comes down to a map. Is if I'm going to go here from San Diego, California to New York City, I have to have a clear map, right? Now, are there 18,000 different ways for us to get there? Yeah. We could take a plane. We could take a bunch of different planes. We could stop off. We could take a train. We could drive. We could drive 18 different freeways and end up and see all 50 states. There's a million ways for me to get from San Diego to freaking New York City, right?
Yep.
However, that's still the end destination. And I think we all have different routes, right? And so I think getting clear on what that end destination is, and then for your business, making ProspectBoss fit that for you is critical, right? No matter what the tool is, somebody's crushing it with your tool.
Right.
Find out what they're doing. Find out what they're doing. Don't model them 100%, because you're still your voice. Your market is a little bit different. Your tools are a little bit different. Add your flavor on it. I hear this all the time, because now that I'm like this online space, right? Well, so-and-so says to do this. And I think you can glean advice from people, but don't take it as gospel, because analogy we used last night, I was talking to some of my inner circle, and I was using this example, and it's almost like you're walking across the frozen pond, right? There are footsteps in front of you, but you have to understand that that's the path. But he might have had a bigger boot, you might have had a smaller boot, and you could roll your ankle here, or like it could have been a different time of day, and now the sun has melted it, and like your market's a little bit different. And it's like you can take, I think, frameworks that work, but then make them fit to yourself and add your own flavor, your own brand, your own flair, and your own swag on it. And absolutely. I truly think people are allowed to be themselves. When I first got into real estate, I emulated my mentor, and my mentor wore a white shirt and a tie every single day. And I realized that that's not, like, it was cool, but that's not me. And like, I literally give speeches in hats. I wear Vans. I'm a West Coast kid. I live in San Diego. Like, but that's me. So like when I see myself back in a video or whatever, I'm myself. And like, own you and own your story and own your mission. And then all you have to do is just have more people hear it. And like, that's why, like, with ProspectBoss, you're literally a click of the button away, dial the phone away from 1,000 homeowners. Like, yeah. If your heart's in the right place, you're good at what you do. And I would say back to your original question, is you have to have the one success story to hang your hat on. Back to your analogy of people aren't willing to take the elevator, I think is beautiful. I think we're trying to microwave success. Here's what I had him do. The very first home he sold was his own. Well, now when he sold a home above asking price, this is so funny. He literally lists his property and he goes, okay, so like, what do? I go, cool, you're going to get high-end photos and a high-end video and a high-end drone. He prices it out. It's, $300. Calls me back. No, man, I'm just going to take it on my iPhone. I'm going to go live in an hour. The bleep you are, stop. It's normal though. So anyway, he tried to rush his listing out on his iPhone. I made him stop. I go, you're not going active till next Thursday. He goes, no, I said, listen to me. So we had my video crew go do a drone and spend the money on it. Again, this is the lesson. He lists it. He gets 10 grand over asking price. But what video is now online? This sick video of a drone flying over his home. Okay. Well, guess who saw that? The homeowner 4 doors down. Saw his home go up, saw the video go up, walked and knocked on his door. He goes, dude, who sold your home? He goes, I did. 10 grand over asking price. He got his neighbor's listing. Why? Because he spent $300 on a video. What's the 8 grand worth to you? So often agents aren't willing to go get that one success story. Go get that one badass story and share it. You go sell some homeowner's house for asking price and you broke your back and you did this, this, and this. Now you go to the community with swag. You're the go-to. And I really think that you can break through. I don't believe in neighborhood farming at all. Other people do, and that's fine. And I agree with it. I think you can break through any market in 90 days. I think you can become the go-to expert because if you got that one sale, you had, watch this. Here's how what's a community? Just give me a community so I can bring this all, like what's a neighborhood?
Just a neighborhood or a city?
Just like what's a neighborhood? Like what's a local subdivision in your town?
Rivers Bend.
The Rivers Bend Homeowner's Guide to Selling Your Home 10 grand over asking price. Case study. How I sold your neighbor's home on Elm for $10,000 over an asking price and the 9 things you can do to spruce up your home. That little realtor over there that sees that is going to go, oh, that sucks. I used to have people tear my signs down. I literally had a local real estate agent hate my marketing so much, he would go pull my stuff down because he's like, you're taking business away from me. Homie, I ain't here to freaking be your best friend. And so if a realtor or him had that tool, you now have it's the trump card. Hey, here's how I did it. And then when you're calling on that, it's just an eyeballs game. Then when they meet you, they're like, you did that? You're like, yes, I did that. I want to do it for 1%. Well, that ain't going to happen. You want that result? And so I think when you have that awesome story of that first time home buyer and you get a photo of them, we had this thing at Ghostal Realty where I invented this big giant 7-foot key that then like 100 people knocked off. So if you're taking the photos with the key, freaking give me a little cred. I want a nickel. We started this and it was my brand. So, I mean, you're talking 1,000 home buyers holding this key or popping champagne. I dressed up as Santa and handed keys to a homeowner. Well, that became our story, right? A homeowner holding a sold sign, a homeowner with a bottle of champagne or a bottle of whiskey, like a big basket. Make that your brand and then just share that. Like share that. So when you heard me tell the story about Josh making 12 grand in his first sale, do you know how much my eyes light up? I had a realtor go through my 4 foundation program, my Transform and Triumph. A real estate agent lost 22 pounds in my program, lost 85 pounds in a year and made 450 grand. And it was the biggest year ever. Because when you get your body moving, you get your mind going, your heart's in, and then you're ready to share. Like I am the proudest dude on planet Earth of him. And I just share really cool stories. When you have a track record, you're not faking nothing. There's not even no escalator. You're like, dude, like here's where I'm at. And like, I think when you're coming to Circle Prospect, to Dripping or whatever, when you're coming with really cool stuff, you just kind of you're like, this genuinely helps you. I'm not a pest. And I hated, like I had a guy pull a gun on me when I was door knocking one day, like a gun on me. Phoenix, Arizona. I used to knock in 100-degree heat, right? Like I've made the 100,000 expired call, so I have experience there. And so I just felt dirty. I didn't feel like I had enough to back me up. And so I honestly feel like now the Avengers, right? Like Thor's got a hammer, but then like the Hulk's behind him and like Spider-Man and like Iron Man's like blowing people out of the water. What I would say to any realtor is get the raddest tools on planet Earth that you know genuinely help somebody. Have them on your back and be like, what do you need? I got some cool stuff, right? If I called you and said, right now, Celeste, hey, I got a really cool bottle of wine. I got a really cool pizza. I got ice cream. I got really cool things, movie, popcorn, passes, the whole bit. Do you want it? What would you say?
Of course.
Yeah. Like, Like, Nick, do you like craft beer? I love it. Do you want to go to the brewery? I do. Do you want a sampler? I'm in. Do you want tacos? I do, right? Like, yes. And so if you called up a homeowner and said, hey, do you want really cool tips to spruce up your home? I do. Yeah. Do you want the COVID's guide to surviving this for homeowners? I do. Do you want $10,000 in free grant money? I do. Well, if you don't, you're just kind of a jerk and you're not going into my database, right? Like, I believe in quality versus quantity, to be completely honest with you. I think a realtor, we're taught to chase leads. And how do I know this? I've hired hundreds, I've coached thousands, okay? Is you don't want leads, you want really cool clients that respect you because it's quality of life. Back to the very first question that I started with. Once you have your business by design, the rest is easy. I used to hate, like, you had to beg and plead and like, this guy said this to me, it's a true story. It was at the tail end of my career. I get his home on the market and he literally said to me, why don't you get your ass over there and clean my pool? Excuse me? Who do you think you are? I just staged your home for $2,500. I just paid for the high-end video shoot. I'm running Facebook ads to your home. I ain't your freaking landscaper, bro. But what do we think we have to do? We have to clean the house. And no, I'm your marketing guy. I am your expert. You're not going to do that to a doctor. And so my goal is really try to attract people in so they treat you that way. And if they don't, they got to go. And I told them that. I said, hey, listen, man, just a heads up. I'm gonna give you one pass on this. I ain't your freaking landscaper. Don't ever talk to me like that. I'm your real estate agent. This is why you hired me. This is why you're paying me 3%. Oh, by the way, I have you 2 contracts now. You know that staging you told me was a dumb idea that I put in? Yeah, I just popped your house off and you got full price. Congratulations, bro. I need a testimonial. And I think that you're allowed to create your own ideal business. And I think you can have people respect you. And I think that comes through authority branding. And then you just need, honestly, the gap for any real estate agent or any entrepreneur is just having more cool people see their stuff. If you have a giant heart and have genuinely really cool stuff that solves problems, it is truly just a number game, which leads me to the number one mistake. I promise this, the number one mistake agents make is we think we are real estate agents. We think we are glorified tour guides, home showers, all the above, and we are home listers. You are 75%, 50% in the marketing game. In the business of a real estate agent, you are the CEO, you are the client fulfillment department, and that's the sales. I completely respect that, but you also are the head of the marketing department too. And as the CEO, you have to have conversations with both departments. If you're not getting enough conversion, you have to step in as the CEO and say, hey, we're not converting enough here. We really need to get these deals off the market and converted. We need the cash flow. But if there's not enough leads coming in, the CEO has to come in and say, hey, we're lacking leads. If you sit down, I've met the most beautiful, amazing, hardworking realtors, but no matter how good you are at what you do, if you are the greatest home showing seller lister on planet Earth, without a client to do that skill on, guess what? It's not worth anything. I have watched so many amazing, hardworking realtors give up on their dream. And it wasn't that they weren't great at real estate, had a passion for it, knew it. It was that they didn't step into the marketing role. And I hear this all the time, but Nick, I'm not a marketing person. Nick, I'm not good on camera. Nick, I'm not good at technology. If you're not good on video, but you're the face, who's the one that shows up to the home? You are the brand. And so you're going to have to get out of your way. And I think that comes through having tools around you that support you and outsourcing a little bit. If you're not good on video, have somebody help you on video. I'm not good on video. I'm not good at editing videos. I don't do my podcast. I have my producer it's $20, $30 to have it. You know, I didn't know how to build my first click funnel. So I hired that out. Little things along the way can make you good. And so how do you do it? Just quick little moving forward is anybody that says they're not good at calling, they're not good at emailing, that's fine. If that's, this will be huge for the Prospect Boss crew. If that's you and you're like, Nick, I'm not good on video. I'm not good on the phones. I don't have the right scripting. I haven't been good about my database. Guess what? Today, let's stop. Let's draw a line in the sand and say, that's cool. That's got me here. Moving forward, I am now going to be this. You know, for you to become a millionaire, if you're not there yet, for you to become fit, you don't know the habits yet. You're not there yet, because if you were that top producer selling, if you are, a different story. But if you were like, I'm not selling 25 homes a year, I'm not making 100 grand a year, that's fine. Because if you knew the formula to get there, you'd already be doing it. So what do we have to do? We have to emulate the habits, routines, and rituals on a daily basis of somebody that would. It's not like you wake up one night and go, I'm a 100 grand earner, or I sell, I gross $1 million a year. Nobody was like gifted this wand. They're like, and you out of real estate school will be a top producer. No. And like, for me, I quit real estate and I hate this. Whereas, well, I'm not X. You didn't come out of the womb when they voted who was X. A lot of times those are learned skills. When I first started on video, and still, I was even nervous to hop on today. We always are. The first time I gave a speech, I literally dropped the microphone on stage, you know, right? Like my first podcast, all the above. But if you do it every day consistently, so I teach a concept called the 30-day challenge. If you started today and said, for the next 30 days, I'm going to call 5 people a day from ProspectBoss. I'm going to send 5 videos per day. Over 30 days, you've sent 100, it blows out of the water, right? Back to Eric's story when he lost the weight. He wanted to lose 100 pounds. Oftentimes, I call them mountains. We're standing at the bottom and it just seems so big, so monumental, making 100 grand or selling 30 homes. That's fine. All it takes is a right, then a left, and a couple million more steps. Yeah. And so for 30 days, could you make 5 phone calls a day? Yes. So for Eric, he wanted to lose 100 pounds. I said, brother, I get it. And this was me, him one-on-one. This is during COVID. I said, brother, I get it. That seems a long way away. Can you just for 30 minutes a day do something active and just not go to fast food anymore? And so for 30 days, he didn't drink alcohol, no fast food, no bad food, and just worked out for 30 minutes a day. At day 30, he had lost 22 pounds. And guess what? Who did it? He did it. He has momentum now. And he kept going on for 6, 7, 8 more months. Now he's down 85 pounds and then his income blew out. Same with ProspectBoss. Nick, I'm not good at technology. Well, could you find somebody who is for $100 that could shrink that down for you? Or could you learn it? Yes, you really could. If you made 5 phone calls per day, what is 1 more home seller worth to you? If you sent 5 more emails, if you added 5 more people, I think we get caught up in this driving through the rear view mirror, Celeste. We're like, here's what I did in the past. The good news is right now, congratulations, Nicky T, your boy, your friend is encouraging you to start fresh and like, you know, get a big meal tonight, get some pizza, some Netflix. And when the alarm clock goes off tomorrow morning, become that person. Just wake up and go, today for 24 hours, could you act like a high producing realtor? Yeah, you could. You honestly could. And I think we've outlined some stuff. I think Celeste has some tools for you to do that as well. But could you do that? Yes. And then when you lay your head tomorrow night, holy crap, I actually did it. Celebrate the wins, then just go do it again and do it again. And that's how these bigger agents, I used to like think that it was like this magic pill. And I'm like, bro, you're half the realtor I am. When you find out, you're like, you just prospect more. And so anyway, that's a big conversation for a different day.
Well, you know, when we're talking about prospecting and putting in the time and, you know, calling those people or, you know, sending those emails or whatever, you know, whatever way you choose to do it, when it boils down to it, sales is a numbers game, right?
100%.
So if you talk to, or if you make 100 calls and you talk to 10 of those people, that's 10 more people than you talked to yesterday.
100%. And over time, what's going to happen? I think there's a big trap with real estate agents or marketers for that matter is we want the lowest hanging fruit. Okay. And so agents will come out. If you're ready to sell, call me. If you're ready to buy, call me. We want the quick little deal. If you look at it this way, in the alphabet of A to Z, A being just maybe considering selling or buying a home, and Z being closed, U-Haul, boxes, all the above. We're trying to get people in the later stages and the S's and the T's and stuff like that, right? Mm-hmm. I truly believe instead of grabbing the low-hanging fruit, go plant your whole tree, go plant the seeds. Because what we tested this for years, okay? And I would much rather have you 6 months from now. Why? Because in 6 months, you've gotten 30 of my emails. You've gotten 6 of my newsletters. So what happens is when they've been around you and exposed to you, they're more likely to trust you. They're more likely to never beat you up on commissions. We would literally have people calling us going, hey, dude, I got your magazine again today. I saw you sold another 20 last month. I did. Hey, can you sell mine now? I'm ready to go. And I think this is a lesson is knowing that that's the reality. Okay. Like it rained last night. Get an umbrella. Sun's going to come up. Like those are the realities. So building systems in your business that will support that long-term. It's not like, it's not this one event and then everything happens. Is we figured out this. In our business, Celeste, the average homeowner was 8 months out on average. Sometimes 12, sometimes 14, but it was about 8 months. Well, if I suck at follow-up, and I'm really not good at getting you all the time. What system could I put in place to continually follow? So as this was funny, I just wasn't good at it. So we created a newsletter. I was like, crap, like clockwork, I want this to go out to all of those people. And we mastered one thing. Cool. Once a month, I knew that if I fell down, bumped my head, this was going to go out. It was my catch-all. Then it was, okay, cool. Well, now how could I send one email a week? Like I have 2 things to do this month. Send 1 newsletter over 30 days and send 1 email next week. Okay, cool. I can do that. And then you just start building up systems that support your follow-up long-term. And then as you're using circle dialing to add in 5 more, what tends to happen though is we add in 5 and it's like freaking like, what do you want to do with the lead? I don't know. What do you want to do with the lead? It's like, what do we do? Right? It's like, you're not going to walk into In-N-Out Burger or McDonald's and they're like, we got one. Who wants to make a burger? Right? It's a system. And so I really truly believe in funnels. Like I'm a huge ClickFunnels guy. I'm an affiliate of ClickFunnels. I actually build now for entrepreneurs out of a need because I got tired of paying funnel builders 3, 4, 5 grand. And now I just built a template that I just share with my realtors. And so I believe that you can set it up on autopilot, meaning if you got a homeowner and you had name, email address, phone number, and address, if you drop that into a form, well, then what do I want to happen? I want this email to go out. I want this email to go out. I want this letter to go out. Well, if that's the case, then, and I took a step back and I designed my business as I'm an architect, all I have to do now is either me or my assistant or my buyer's agents drop the lead in and then, right? Like, hey, when they come in, add them to this. And I couldn't love what you're doing more because I think it gets people such a good access to homes. But then I think if they could take what I just kind of shared with funnels and authority branding and blow it out of the wall, it's almost the perfect one-two punch, right? Like all contacts are, that's the same as Facebook ads, Instagram ads, YouTube's, networking events. Just all it is an at-bat to get people. Here's what I say, Celeste, is the primary job of an impact-driven entrepreneur or realtor in this situation. You have one job: drive new people into your world and funnel, share with them how cool you are, how big your heart is, what your mission is, and what problems you solve, and then share with them an opportunity to move forward when they're ready. And I just feel personally, the more that you share cool stuff online, not gimmicky stuff, like real genuine stuff from your heart and your soul, you share that via email, you share that on the phone, it's only a matter of time before you break through and they're back on one of these interviews going, dude, I freaking made 100 grand, like I just love those stories.
Yeah.
So.
So going back to, ProspectBoss is, we do a lot of automation, we automate a lot of the processes. So, putting in those, the drip text messaging, the drip emails, and it's kind of a set it and forget it kind of thing. But then you have the ability to get all of those responses back also. So, you get your follow-up automated, and then you start getting those responses in, and you can really see the results of having, that game out there where you're putting in the time, you're putting in the effort, you're, putting your name in front of people consistently. And that's, that's huge.
I think it's powerful. We had a home sale come through. I don't know why I looked at it. Like I looked it up in the database. We had 39 contacts for one home. It was 14 months of loving on this person. And I counted all the emails, all the voicemails, all the text messages, all the mail that went out to the person. And I looked at my partner and I said, what would be interesting if we never put these systems in place like you're talking about? I said, we see the listing today. I'm actually more excited about the story of how it got here, because I know that most agents aren't willing to fight that battle. And I think the agent that, like, fortune's in the follow-up, I've heard that for years. I think that's true. I think the fortune is in the follow-up with really cool stuff too. Like if you took what you were doing and added real true value to it, real true, I think you're untouchable at that. And I just think a lot of us aren't really good at a lot of that stuff, right? Like, and then you add 10 more in and 10 more in, you have to rely on the technology. Like with the funnels we have running right now and books being sold and stuff, I couldn't do this without technology. Like, how do you think, oh, this guy came in 9 months ago and it's contact number 3? Like, you're not going to do that. So if that's the case, then, and that is truly the realities of marketing, we'll just build a database and just let the thing crank for you, And so I couldn't be more of a fan of what you're doing over there, Celeste. So
Yeah, we really love. We've got several, clients that have been with us for years and years and years, and when COVID hit, I had a guy call me. I was doing billing and accounting at the time. I had a guy call me, and he was like, "I'm really struggling with this COVID thing, but I can't do my business. I can't make my business work without your tool. So what can we do?" He said, I just need a little bit of help, but I can't get better unless I'm, working with it.
sure.
And so, we gave him, I want to say, half off the month, and, just kind of, let's help you out if we can. And he came back 2 months later and he kept paying, and he was like, "I'm finally out of the woods. I can see the daylight, I can see it, and it's happening. And, thank you for giving me just that little bit of help. It really, benefited a lot." And, so it's those stories that we hear, that just kind of make us feel all warm and fuzzy inside.
Yeah.
Because you want to have a product that works for people.
Mm-hmm.
And I know that, cold calling isn't for everybody. Sending out text messages and emails, it's not for everybody. But like you said, find the thing that does work for you and master it, and it'll work for you. Even if you have to combine it with another thing, it can work if you just find that thing that works for you and really hone in on it.
Yeah. I think the way to look at it is it's the only way to share your message, right? Like, I'm not big on Facebook ads, but I kind of have to be. Like, you got to find a way to share your message, right? Like, you have to meet the homeowners. It's not like they're like, you're working from home or a Starbucks. It's not like you're going to put the sign up on the back of your laptop and be like, "I'm a realtor, ask me." And you're going to hit all your goals. I know it's cool that a few of you guys got a few deals. Congrats. That's awesome. Smart, very resourceful. But it's not something you're going to rely on a daily basis. Right. It's just really what it is. And so I like predictability. I like constants, right? And so I think with anybody that's doing prospecting, I think it just comes down to a numbers game. And if you can hit enough numbers, enough people will hear you, and I just think that's so powerful, is using that as just a tool to just share your heart and share your message. And I think when you link that up, it's not cold calling. I actually personally believe that if you are a good realtor, you're actually calling because they really, truly need you right now. And the problem that you solve, they were crying about last night. Case in point, we had a gal that was literally 72 hours away from foreclosure. And somehow our marketing got a hold of her. I don't know. I can't remember what it was. Newspaper, calling, whatever. We stopped the foreclosure, sold it, and put like 35 grand equity money back in her pocket. Wow. And she was elderly. And I remember looking at her going, if we didn't have this marketing, that bank would have taken this woman's home. Mm-hmm. And I can share with you 1,000 stories, and I think your realtors can. And I just look at it that way is, that if they don't hire you and you are good, they're going to hire freaking Susie Q down the street who sucks, who's really, really rude and doesn't care and is just going to throw it up on the market. Last story for you on this one. I had a friend call me up to sell his folks' home. And he goes, "Hey, can you meet me at the house? I haven't seen it in years. It's my childhood home. Can we meet over there?" And we walked in and it was bad. It was bad. They had become hoarders and his folks had gotten sick. And I think the home had made them even more sick. And so anyway, I looked at him and I could tell the emotion in his eyes. I really, truly believe, Celeste, that I think we as real estate agents don't understand what we are really working with. When you've been in this business for so long and you're doing hundreds of units, they just become a unit. Do you know the family on the other end of what it's like to bring their baby girl home to their own home? I had a family come to me and she had never owned a home and she was in her 40s. And I said, "What would this mean to you?" And she goes, "I could have family, get-togethers." And her daughter was pregnant. I knew her daughter. Anyway, I got invited over for one of the family barbecues, and she brought out the cake. And I'm sitting there having a beer with her, and she looked at me and she said, "Nicky, this is what I described." And it's cool to see the photos of that, And so back to this story, we go, and I could see the emotion in his eyes that his folks had, ran the home down this way. And so I ended up listening. We got one offer in. It was a $150,000 house. We got one offer in, it was a cash offer. I got it in within like an hour of listing it. And I could have listed the property, taken it, gone to Facebook and said, sold in 1 hour. Look at how great I am, yada, yada, yada. But again, I think when you lead with your heart, I just had a feeling that I could get more. And I started negotiating and I started bidding the investors against each other. And I let it ride for 72 hours. Phone call, back and forth, me negotiating. I bid the thing up to $163,000 and we sold it for 163. Well, here's the story. The home closed. He called me up and he said, bro, I knew you could have taken that first cash offer. And he goes, you fought like a mother for 3 days straight. And he goes, dude, that 13 grand paid off my dad's medical bills. And he goes, and he started, it was a grown man. He started crying. He goes, bro, I didn't know you did this. He goes, I just saw you on Facebook as some guy. He goes, I didn't know you genuinely did this. And again, back to this whole impact driven entrepreneurs thing. It's really just my heart and soul. And if you suck at real estate, I'm not your, I don't hire Celeste and don't talk to me. But if you genuinely have a big heart, there's a homeowner right now that's crying. There's a family right now. Like, think about it this way. There's a husband and wife or newly engaged couple that has no clue how to buy a home and they're giving money to their landlord. And through your gift and your voice, you can make that dream a reality. You can be the one that has them in Christmas for their new home. And I think when you look at it from that standpoint, that you are only one phone call away, text message away, Facebook post away, video away, I think you share your heart differently when it comes to that. That's just me personally. Now, I get in the prospecting world, there's probably some numbers guys that are like, you just grind the thing out, and that's fine. They're great at that. I'm great at this. And I just personally believe the more that you genuinely care, those are the stories that people tell. When I stopped, I left our real estate business, had an accident, was in the hospital, so I was actually forced to leave. But 90% of my business was referral. Like, people just sharing cool stories about you. Like, that's a cool thing, when you get to that standpoint of, the stories of, I wrote an offer at 1 o'clock in the morning on a home for a family. I got permission, snuck the key out because I knew it was anyway. They tell those stories. I had a gentleman, we were getting ready to write an offer and he goes, Nick, I'll buy this home under one condition. I said, what's that? And his son had autism. He goes, my boy loves you. He goes, will you come over and paint the home with me? And I said, hell yeah. So we showed up with pizzas and soda pop, and it was me, him, and his son. And I brought my buyer's agents because I had a team then. And I said, hey, I brought the help. And, me and his son just knuckling up and stuff. And he years later is called into the office. Like, when people are calling you to share stories, but like, I think as a real estate agent, your hands are in so many things. I call real estate agents the son of the universe. You're the one to help with landscaping, painting, carpet, granite, the whole bit, which makes it a really cool opportunity where you can refer your friends and you can help a lot of people out. And I was just talking, I don't know how it came up, but we had a brick and mortar, years ago. And like, our office was like, you'd walk in, the painter's hanging out, having an iced tea, like we're having pizza and stuff. But like, to me, that was real estate, that was, we're all just working at this together, and the painter would refer you, and my roofer would refer you. Ironically, again, you can't give away good. My roofer just hired me as a business coach and flew into San Diego, and like, wow, like I was sitting there with him, like inspiring him to go. He was like, dude, you inspired me to start my own roofing company. I'm like, no way. Like, I was just a kid. I sold him a home 10 years ago, and like, these stories just add up and add up and add up. And I just think it's just so freaking cool, and again, that phone call, you might not know, but that might be the motion, Taxman might be coming. They might be a short sale. They, might be going through divorce. And what if you're the one to help them navigate that? I just think you're dealing with somebody's largest asset. So again, I get very disillusioned with this real estate industry because I think people pray. I think you have Facebook ads that just Facebook, kids that just don't care. And like, I just think if you genuinely care, and I could tell your heart too, that's why I wanted to hop on. So. Man, we've covered more than I was expecting today.
A ton. Yeah. We can go ahead and wrap this up. We've been on the phone for an hour and a half now. So I'll go ahead and just kind of sign us off. Agents, go take a look at ProspectBoss, and then also check out Nicky T at The Triumphant Entrepreneur.
Yeah, I got a really cool book you guys should go get. It's called Triumph, actually. This book, this is just the manuscript I had laying with me. Go to triumphantLifebook.com. It's really a book I wrote. I just poured my heart out about you know, really, what does somebody need to really unlock their greatness? It's like something I'm obsessed with. And how do you, I really believe that unlocking your greatness funnels your real estate business, right? And so I wrote this step-by-step guide for people to really break through, and you should go get it too, Celeste. It's freaking rad. triumphantLifebook.com. And we have a whole private Facebook group around it and stuff like that. It's free. It's just get the download. So
awesome.
Thank you for having me on. I truly, man, my first talk back in real estate, I guess, huh?
I'm pulling you back in.
Yeah. How'd I do in the grand scheme of things? I'd love to hear what your listeners, guys, send me a message on Instagram, Nicholas Trevelyan. Did you like it? What'd you think, Celeste? Like, was this what's up?
Oh, I loved it. This was fantastic. We don't normally get these, you know, this kind of energy in an interview setting. So this was a breath of fresh air. I loved it.
Oh, I truly, man, the smile on my face, you have no idea, you know, like it's just been fun. So thank you for having me on.